Hello. Hallo, hallo, hallo. Para. I'm here, guys. I'm here. I'm here. Pam 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 param 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 pam 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 para pam pam. Hello everyone, good evening. Ba-da-bam. Perfect timing with the music. Para pam pam. Here we are. Yes. I added a new new set of music files for Assassin's Creed 3. I didn't add all of them yet, but I added a few, so you may hear some new stuff going on. But I was checking some of the news, so it seems that after yesterday's threat from Trump, now seems that they found a kind of an agreement or something, but so they stopped shooting in Iran, right? That is what I read. But it's not very clear what will be the outcome, because there will be a pause of like 2 weeks and then whatever happens. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just reading the latest. Okay. So what I want to work tonight is a bit of a special dungeon, which is related to the Warsmiter's mission, right? Which is this mission. And we have to do a few things. We want to have a new natural resource in the desert. But that I think we can do also another day. And we want to have new NPCs and all of that. But I also want to have... I also want to have the new dungeon, it's not new because we will reuse stuff that we already have, right? But we want to have the dungeon for what is the name of the girl? The name of the girl is Ashe. Yeah. Dungeon for Isashe Laboratory. Now... there is one problem I just realized. Is that in theory, the Isashe Laboratory should be close to... oh fuck, I just forgot about it. I did a small mistake. I mean, we can still sustain, that is okay, but in theory, it should be close, right, to... There is a bit of a problem. I mean, I can change it. I can change it right now. But I did all this mess, right? Because the idea was that we have to decide where the laboratory is. The laboratory is the place where she has infected the... the water, right? The underwater rivers, the underground rivers next to the city, right? So actually the best place for the entrance would be here, right? The problem though is that maybe it's a bit too close to the city, and so it's like if people I have to think about it. I have to think about it. Hello, Lam. You mean Sunny Place you can find more dungeons than barrels? Yes. Well, more dungeons than barrels is very hard. Because there are so many barrels. So many. I mean, I can keep the laboratory. The problem is that it's very far away, right? It's kind of far away, but I mean, it can come this direction. I didn't think about it. I mean, in theory, I can invert the two. I can have this one, I can have this area. Because here we actually have an entrance for a dungeon, right? Which is here. We only have one or two. No, we only have one. So we have one there, and we have one in the other block. So or air dungeon is here, but it's a bit too evident. I wanted to have something that was less evident, so I created this block of rocks where you have to basically find your way through, right? I created this block of rocks that looks like a gorge or something, right? And I wanted to place there below the laboratory dungeon. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that maybe it's a bit too large. Should we make it smaller? So that is not that evident, right? That you have to, that there is an entrance. I mean, I can. The problem is that the problem is allowing the player to actually go down without becoming crazy. But now that I think about it, maybe it's a better idea to have it smaller. The problem is that if I want to do it smaller, I have to change pretty much everything, right? I have to change everything. So I have to move, well, I basically have to move this block. So if I make it like this, or you know, I think it would be very hard to navigate down. I think it would be very hard to navigate if we make it smaller. For you it's good. No, I think it's also good like this. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just more, just way more evident. But I mean, this is very far. Oh, there is a hole there. This is very far. So I need another rock. It's very far from the city, right? And the idea was that the pollution, right, inside the water, but maybe it can pollute the oasis, or we can have another oasis. That could be an idea. Nah, another oasis, I don't think so. Come on. Why so hard to... Okay. Like this should be impossible to mess up, right? Okay. So yeah, I prepared this, right? I prepared this area. The problem is that it's very far from the city. I mean, the city is there, the dungeon is here. I mean, it's like a 5 minutes walk. I mean, it's not insanely far, right? But it is kind of far, right? And because the story basically says that this dungeon is where she had her laboratory, and But it's good because it's very far away, right? So people may not find it, right? So it's well hidden, right? It's well hidden. It's well hidden from the city. Now I think it's okay. I think we can leave it like that. Now here I would like to have, you know, the entrance to the dungeon. But the entrance to, I don't know if we will use this dungeon or we'll change the texture. I don't know. Maybe we'll change the texture here to make it more similar to this texture. I don't know. We will see. But as you can see, the dungeon is fairly small, right? Compared to, yeah, it is actually very small. And so when compared to the actual hole that we have here, so we have to create a kind of a connection, right, between this and the dungeon, or we make the dungeon bigger. But making the dungeon bigger has a number of problems, including the connectability. So the fact that it's connected with the rest, right? Just waiting the loading. I tested it with a dwarf because I wanted to see if there was any difference in the height that you can actually mantle. But actually no, there are no differences. I mean, it's still fairly big, actually. I think it's okay. Oops, we have a bit of a fuck up there. I think it's fine. Oops, we have another fuck up here. We can fix them. Now this area is way bigger, right? So here I'm inside the hole or whatever. So we need to create a connection between this and that, right? And the only way to do it is really to create a custom piece. I think the custom piece should be... should be like a funnel. Well, not exactly like a funnel, but I think it should be something like this, right? Yeah, something like this, so that we can easily connect, you know, to another piece, right? To another piece of dungeon here, because the other dungeon will be like this, right? And in our thing will be like this. So I think this piece can connect well if it's done properly, right? I think it should be like this. So, but it should be 360 the same, right? So it should be like this, 360. So probably the easiest is to create exactly that shape, right? So if I now the sides, right? The sides we will decide, but I mean the sides, I think it should be probably this sides roughly. The length is not very important because the length, yeah, but still is kind of relevant actually. It is kind of relevant. Now, the more we do, the more we have this being long, and the easier will be to connect, right? So the longer is this part, and the easier will be to connect. Well, in theory it goes outside, so if it goes outside, it's automatically matching. Okay, I understand. I think we should just try and see what happens. So let's say that I create a new curve, right? And this curve, I don't know if I want to scale it immediately or not, but probably yes. So basically what I need to do I don't know why it's not just following the normal so we have automatic vector. Vector is making it squared, right? Then we have aligned, but it's not tangent, right? This thing is not tangent to any of the points, which is a bit annoying. I think there was a way to just have it automatically tangent, but I would say it's fine. So I think something like this will work, right? And if we do the same on the other side... Now the problem is how long this needs to be, right? How long this needs to be, that I don't know. How long that needs to be. I don't think it needs to be insanely long. I think it's fine. Bro, it's so annoying that it's not matching the curve automatically, but it's fine, we can fix it. The problem is these things that are longer. But anyway, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So basically it will be something like this. Something like this, and then we move it 360. I mean, we rotate it, right? We rotate it with a swirl, whatever. And we make it a full... Now, if it's straight, it's better because, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I need the last one, though. I think probably like this is enough. But anyway, let's keep it. Okay, so if we have this, right? If we have this and we transform it into a mesh. And okay, at the moment it's very high resolution, but it's fine. I mean, we don't care about it at the moment. And then what I do, I swirl this. Well, first I need to put it probably in 0, 0 so that I can actually swirl on an axis. Swirl, no, sorry, like that. How big it should be? It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, something like this, I guess. Do you think you can add more Dargir places in the game? You mean Dargir? Maybe yes. Why? Why you ask about Dargir? Just because you like the race, or? Huh? Why doesn't work? Now it should. This is not working. Why is not doing it around this point? I need this to do it around this point. Well, I can probably set the object origin to the 3D. Now. Okay, way better. Wow, super large. I think it's okay, actually. I think it's okay, or is too much. Well, I mean, so imagine this, right? Imagine this between this and that. Now the sides. The problem is the size of the hole, because the size of the if the size of the hole is not compliant with this, right? It will never work. It will never work. It will never work. So if this thing is here, I mean, or I make it compatible exactly with this. I can also make it compatible with this, because I'm doing it for this, right? So I can make it compatible with this block, actually, if we really want. It's probably easier. It's probably easier. It's the outside that has to be big, but the inside can be perfectly compatible with this, right? The problem of doing it perfectly compatible is that or you have the same texture, or it will look very, very, very bad, right? While if it's bigger than this, so for example, if he arrives here, yeah, but still the size of the corridor needs to be compatible with this, otherwise it will not match, right? Yes. No, but I think I can do a piece that is this color, yeah, whatever is the color of the inside cave, and Derge, because now the map is super big and you don't really know what to drop, and I want to know more about them. Okay. Yeah, we can invent more lore on the Dergir, yes. We can have more places. In theory, they should leave closer to the walls. Closer to the walls. But they can also live in other places. Cave 05. Cave 05. Ah, it's not there. I think it's the same. I think I can take any. What the hell is this? Ah, this was the old. Okay. This was an. It was a test. This was a test. This was a test, actually. No, I guess I need to open it separately. Yeah, any piece will do. Okay. So the sides of one of the entrances is this, right? And we need to understand. So basically, we need to adapt. I mean, we need to make it so that it works as a connector. Actually, here I have the other side. Why I don't have the other side? Wait. In this one I don't have the other side. Very strange. I cut it off. I only have one side of the formula. Why there I have both? That's very strange. That is very, 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 very strange. Because this is not a real piece. Is this a fake piece or what? Yeah, it is a fake piece. The ones that are correct are these ones. Okay, yes, yes. Yes, for example, this piece. Yeah, which is also scaled, so it's also bigger. Yes. So... Really? So, assuming that our... So I'm trying to understand how the hell we can do a connector, right? Without, I mean, making it generic enough, but I at this point, I don't think I want to make it generic. I think it will just be, correct, right? For this piece. So we'll be matching exactly that piece. Problem is that, yeah, we will fix it. We will fix it. So the entrance must be exactly the sides of. So in reality, I don't need this piece, right? In reality, I don't need this piece. I just need one side of that, right? And then here I need to match my geometry to this profile, right? Whatever it is. To this profile. Yeah, to this profile. So I don't know if this profile is enough actually. Or if I need also... No, I think I need also the... Well, maybe not all of that, but I need the bottom, right? If we don't have the bottom... So this is basically the profile that I have to adapt to, right? So I think we can do this. We can just keep the profile so that it's easier, right? And then we try to, and now we try to adapt our monster, right? To now, should it become larger? Yes, I think so. And how deep? I mean, how deep? How much we want this to be? I don't know. I don't think a lot. But I think like that is fine. Yeah, probably like that is fine. So if I take all of this and delete it, right? And I don't know if I just want to stick to vertex or what, but I mean, maybe I can G the, I can right, I can move it like this so it's not destroyed. But yeah, the idea would be to do something like that. And but that would not work for the second one. GG. Please. No, it's not very clear how many vertices we have here, but yeah, those are the vertices, I guess. So I just need to somehow adapt it. Saying that this thing is annoying, it's just don't worry, it will work, okay? It will work. It may look like it's not working, but it will work. I tell you. It will work perfectly fine. How many freaking vertexes there are here? Like 1 million. Yeah, 1 million actually. It's a bit annoying. Wow. I don't understand exactly why there are so many, but there are. I'm just trying to adapt one structure to the other, right? It's just what I'm doing. So that then we can sculpt the rest. But this needs to be exactly matching. Otherwise... So I'm trying to create the connector piece. Hello, Sia Keiko. I have an idea. Okay. Which idea you have? What idea? Tell me. What idea you have? Now, if I mess up, I can always fix it later, but I think it's better if I don't. What? Huh? Oh, yes. Was there a better way? I mean, I could take this profile and extrude it, right? So it basically would have been but I didn't have, I wouldn't have then the end, which is what I'm trying to reach, but I don't know, would be similar probably. Extrude the tunnel entrance you have from into your tunnel. You can use circle from the grid mesh tool. Add-on, you get a circle at the end. Yeah. I could extrude this profile, right? And I mean, it's kind of similar, yes. Similar. I don't know. At the end, it's kind of similar. Bro, this thing is so annoying. Okay, we are nearly there, eh? We are nearly there. I hope there are no other 1 million vertexes in this freaking profile. Okay, there is one more or not? Yeah, there is one hidden there, obviously, just to be annoying. I don't understand what it's doing when I subdivide now. Fractal. Where's this fractal thingy? Okay, so now we basically have this profile, right? A matching. So this is matching our profile. So now the problem is that we need to move these things without moving the profile, right? And that is a bit annoying because actually I would like to move it with this, but this will move the profile as well, right? And we absolutely should not move the profile for yeah, right? So absolutely not. Because otherwise it's not compatible anymore with our thingy. Right? So here I already see that the profile is moving, which is very bad. Is there a way to block some vertices so they don't move? Well, I can hide them. If I hide these vertices, they will not move, right? Do you think so? If I do hide, and then I move with and then I move with G, right? I assume that my vertices there are not moving. I don't understand what is happening though. Wait, okay, let me do this. Let's hide the original profile. Then I go here, I take this profile, right? Which is this. So these are all the vertices that I don't want to move, right? So I hide them, right? I hide them. Okay, so now if I move this, hopefully, right? In anywhere, let's do something crazy and see if it worked. And then I do unhide. Yes, exactly, it's not moving. Okay, good, good, good. So I can, okay, so now I can basically work with this without touching the profile, right? The first thing I want to do, I basically want to shrink it, but I don't know if vertically, yeah, but I want to shrink it a lot. Because that's how, yeah, exactly. Well, maybe that's too much though. I think I would like to have those vertices not moving, but I guess it's probably too much to ask. Yeah, I think vertically we are fine. I just have to push back a bit. So I have to take this and I have to move it backward a bit. Yes, we are pretty much where the profile is. I mean, it's fine. Hide it. Yeah, exactly. Hide it. Okay, so now I think we can remove the we can remove the what is the proportional editing for a second and just try to do it, you know, manually a bit. Just a bit. I don't know why one of these things is completely fucked. But I think the reason is that exactly the reason is that it's not okay, fine. No, I think we are good. I think we are good. I mean, it looks a bit weird, but I think we are good. I think we are good. I think we have what we want, right? We can adapt it slightly, right, so that it's a bit better. We will adapt it a bit so that it's not completely fucked. We will adapt it here. We will adapt it there. And now we will start to make a bit of a structure, right? Like a cavern. So we are going to move these vertices a bit randomly, maybe not too much. And then I will decimate it for sure. But yeah, we'll have to do a bit of work to have some noise, right? To have some random noise like I'm trying to do now. And yeah, the cave can become a bit larger on this side. I mean, this is not a problem. It's not a problem at all. Maybe I can go back to my... Nope, absolutely not. Yeah, as big as this, I think is fine. So we don't overlap, you know, the adjacent vertices, right? So we do it like reasonably. Okay, whatever, right? It's just a bit of a cave-like. Now, I think this thing needs to go way larger though, because, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter actually, but I mean, it's just a cave, so it can be any shape, right? It can also be a stupid shape. It's fine. I mean, it just maybe we just want to avoid crazy spikes, but okay. I just do the same work here, just trying to make it a bit more a bit more random, right? Just making it randomly random. Right? Can be a bit larger, can be a bit smaller, can go that way, can go this way, can go this way, can go this way, can go this way. Just pure randomness. And we will probably have to adapt it a bit more, but it's fine. Okay, now we have to do the same in this axis. Otherwise it becomes too flat, right? So going up a bit, going down a bit, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay. Whatever we like, as long as we don't move the interface, right? Okay. Now the problem is that we need to understand how this thing connects for real, right? Into this area here. And probably the best way is to export it 1 second and do a test, because I mean, it's true. Yeah, let's export it a second. I think it's just easier, right? It's just easier. Let's export it and let's call it Desert Connector. Desert Connector 1. Desert Connector 1, export. And we are going to import it this way. Yeah, because if we then can connect, you know, our standard modules, then we are good, right? It's just the connector with this mess that is the problem, but the rest we should be fine. Desert connector. Okay, we have our desert connector, and if I put it here, right? And then we will match the 0, 0, I mean, obviously, right? So we will match the rotation, everything. But let's assume for a second that this matches, right? Let's assume for a second that this opening, I don't know why it doesn't match actually, but yeah, I mean, it will match because it's designed the same, so he has to match, right? It's copy paste, so okay, you see that it's kind of starting to match, right? Yeah, so roughly like that, right? Roughly like that. It seems there is something fucked though. Is the scale fucked or what? Ah, no, it's just a vertical that is bad. But why? Huh? Why I don't see the... Ah, because from this side you cannot see it, and from this side you cannot see the other one. Okay. Well, we will probably match it based on the 0, 0 position. But roughly, let's say that roughly is like this, okay? Roughly is like this. I don't know why here at the top I see something, but no, it's correct, it's correct. It's correct. Roughly is like this. So... is it too small here? Yeah, the bottom, I think it needs to be a bit more flat, right? But this will already work, right? This will already work. Now, obviously the rotation is all messed up. So I had to take these two pieces, right? And rotate them a bit like this and put it more like this. But yeah, that would be a problem because this guy needs to have a standard rotation of 90 degrees, right? We cannot have a rotation. Yeah, that's the problem. So in reality I did something stupid. I can do minus 90 or I can do 0, but I can, or I can do 180, but I cannot do 45. Minus 127. No, but minus 127 works, right? Or not? Minus 128. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No. Why minus 128? No, it makes no sense. This thing needs to be, this needs to be or minus 90 or minus 180, right? So, but this will never work then. This will never work in the current rotation. This will never work in the current rotation. Jeez. Let me see if it's only this piece or it's also all the pieces that have the same problem. Let me take, I don't know, this one, another random one. So if I put it in at 0 rotation, right? The door, where is the door? The door is here. Hey, yes, exactly the same. Is exactly the same, is exactly the same, right? Is exactly the same. So I have to, it is a problem, huh? So basically I need to change my entrance to be looking this way. I need to change my entrance to be look that way. Okay. I mean, we can do it. Just that I have to revolutionize a bit the thing. But basically what we are saying is that I need to have it this way. So I need this part not to be like this. Or I can put it far away. I can put it here. But if I rotate in 90 degrees, right? If I rotate in 90 degrees in this direction. Yeah, I can also do this maybe. Which is probably easier for me at this point because I have, yeah, I think this one is easier. But then the connector is completely different because the connector needs to go immediately to the left, right? And this one will also bounce a bit on top of that. It's not very easy. But yeah, this should be is initial rotation, right? And we can start, and from there we can start a real dungeon. From there we can start, you know, a dungeon. Now we will have to go this way instead of that way, or we will have to go straight, right? But that is the way we need the connect. So the connector really needs to be nearly a 90 degrees rotation, right? So the connector needs to be a 60 degrees rotation, roughly, right? The connector needs to be a 60-degree rotation pretty soon, right? Pretty soon. I mean, we can do that. It's not a big deal. So we basically have to take everything, right? And without moving the connector as usual, right? Without moving the connector. Bloop. 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 How much is 60 degrees? I don't know. I mean, it's more than 45 for sure. So it needs to go pretty quickly this direction, right? Are we moving the connector now? Jeez, don't move the connector, please. Don't move the connector. Don't move the connector. I mean, like this, I think it is 60, right? At least. I mean, this is 45. Now, I mean, I can go, but if I go too much, if I go 90, right? If I go like this, it becomes nearly 90. Then it's too much, right? So we don't have to do it too much, otherwise we will not. Okay, let me re-export the. Let me re-export the connector. I removed it, right? Yeah, removed. So the connector is also, I mean, the connector has the face in 0, right? So the connector also rotates only by 90, right? It rotates only by 90. So the connector is boom, like that, right? No, like that. So in theory, this should match perfectly that entrance. Somehow, because it's exactly 90, right? Maybe it doesn't match the height, but it will match perfectly the yeah, it will match perfectly the location. And then the other thing that we have to do, I think we need to match the we need to drop these pieces in a 100 in a 1 meter grid, right? So for example, this cave, we drop it here, and then we move 1 meter by 1 meter, and we rotate 90 by 90, right? So that we are sure that we are in a situation where we will be able to build a level, you know, without going crazy. Yes. So with a 1 meter by 1 meter, now if I redrop this guy with the same idea, because remember that in Unreal, it counts when you drop it, right? It doesn't count when you move it. I know it sounds a bit stupid, but that's the way it is. So you have to drop it with the grid on. If you don't drop it with the grid on, it will never be aligned. Why it doesn't work? Why it doesn't work? Because the pivot is here. Okay. If I export it like this, I think it needs to have the same pivot of my connecting piece. But it seems it didn't move an inch. Why didn't it move an inch? Huh? I'm moving 100 by 100, right? We don't have the same. We don't have the same coordinates for whatever reason. We don't have the same coordinate. You see, this is not matching. No, wait. No, it's not matching. It's not matching by that much. I mean, not by much, but it's not matching. And it's a bit weird though, because in theory, I copied the... In theory, I copied this, right? I copied this, and I kept... Oh. Maybe I moved it. Fuck. I moved it? So the pivot of this is in 0, 0, 0, you see? But the interface... I don't know. I mean, I can move it here. I can move the connector here. But I don't think that will make a real difference. I mean, if I move it vertex to vertex. By the way, that this shit is not doing it because it's annoying, but we can do it the other way, right? So we can take we can do this. I mean, now in theory is exactly on top of it, right? I mean, assuming I didn't do any mistakes, but should be exactly on top of it. Yes, I think it is. I think like this is exactly on top of it. So the question is, if we the problem is the pivot, but I mean, if I now set the pivot if I set the pivot of this guy there, right? And I export it again, do you think it will match now or no? Yes, he moved at least, which is a good news. Now I'm still going 1 meter by 1 meter, right? So 100, I mean, yeah, 100 centimeters at a time. The only annoyance is that the pivot is far away, so... I think it's matching now. I mean, you may still see it like this because it looks, but it's correct. I think now it's correct. I think this way we can position it. Okay. Okay, so now we have a problem of height, but the height is easy. Again, we move everything. We move everything up 1 meter. Right? So I think it should be easy. And now, okay, and now we have our connect. Okay, now the connector seems to work. Right? Now, it will not be like this, but let's say direction it will be like this, right? Yes. Now, the texture is another issue, but But yeah, if we make it so, and actually it seems to be correct actually, roughly. I mean, not exactly, but I think it needs to be a bit. Yeah, but I think it's pretty good actually. I mean, it's exactly the sides. Apart from a small piece here, right? But it's exactly the sides. It's exactly the sides. So, okay. Okay, so I think we can so without moving the interface and without pretty much moving the end, without moving the end, well, the end, yeah, I mean, it's fine. Yeah, but the rotation is perfect. I think what we can do, we can slightly increase this. No. If I move the interface, I'm fucked, eh? So I have to... Yeah, exactly. So I can do proximity, but I have to do a very small proximity. Okay, so we can do something like this, so it is slightly smoother, right? And is right. So I don't think we need all of this, so this can probably be smaller. Right. I think there was a problem at the bottom. Yeah, exactly. The bottom was a bit fucked up because the was not flat enough on the. So we need to without touching the interface as usual, but we have to move this up a bit. Because at the moment I think it's a bit weird, right? It goes down. Yeah, there are some wrong vertices there. Then the other thing is that it should be a bit more flat, right? I think at the moment it is very circular because it's been created that way, right? But we need this to be, yeah, more looking more like a passageway and not like a cylinder. Okay, and I think pretty much the same on this side if we can. So it's a bit more flat, right, on the ground. Doesn't have to be perfect, but yeah, something like that. Now the beginning I think is still going down so much, right? I think that this needs to go up a lot. It is still super low, right? Okay, we can add more polygons maybe here to make it smoother, but I think at the moment I just... Wait, I did something stupid? No. I think at the moment we keep it this way, right? Okay, so this is our passageway here. Now here we have the same problem that we need to make it less of a cylinder and more of a passageway. Yes. Yes. I mean, it can be a bit bumpy, but consider the scale is pretty big here. So for the player, this is very much up and down. already, right? So okay, then we reach this, right? Then we reach this. The only thing that we know is that pretty much the outside is fine. I mean, we will decimate it because it's insane as it is, but we know that the top is pretty much okay. We know that this side, right, may use a bit of movement, right? We may use a bit more should be slightly larger, but apart from that, I think we saw that it was okay, right? It was okay. Okay, so my suggestion is that we export it one more time. And we just look at, let me just texture it. So the texture, the texture would be kind of fun to make, but I think the easiest will be to cut on the path, right? To cut on the path. So if this is the horizontal line, right? There is the horizontal line, we do a cut here. And we basically seam the path, right? And we seam the path, which is not really that, by the way. Well, it is a bit yes and a bit no. And here is more this. And here is more this line, right? The actual. But at the moment, I don't really care about the UV, right? We will fix it. We will fix it later. It's fine. But it's just to give it a sense of texture. Otherwise, I don't know. It should be this one. Yeah, we'll probably add another loop here in the middle, right? I think we have to. But for now, let's just go like this, and then we will see. But we will add probably another loop. Okay, so if we split it this way, just a second, right? And we do just a stupid, I don't know, scale 4, just a simple mapping, so at least it's not all orange, right? And we re-export it, and we re-import it. Okay, at least now he has you know, the same color. Okay, here we need to make it rocky, right? But in terms of space, maybe let me try to navigate it. Now we will decide about the texture, because the texture should be one or the other, right? Should be one or the other. So it could be or this one, and I think it probably needs to be that one. But if I do it with that one, this would look very weird, I guess. Yeah, it would look a very completely different rock, right? So I don't know if I have to do, I need to have a transition, but because we cannot transition the texture in the interface, right? We cannot. So we have to transition the texture like in a place like this, right? By the way, this texture is very dark. I don't know why it's so freaking insanely dark. I think it's a material that we didn't make. It's a material that we took. It seems to be super dark. It doesn't look that dark here, but seems that the sRGB is messing up with this texture. But anyway, I mean, it's super dark. Look at that. I mean, if I switch it to this one, right? I mean, obviously one is more gray, the other is orange, but you see that it's not. I mean, it is a bit darker because obviously, but for example, this piece, right? This piece that is light. And this piece that is light. It's still super dark. It's still super dark. I think this texture has a problem. I think this texture has a problem. I don't know which problem, but it has a problem. I think this texture has a problem. Could be the color profile or something else. Let me check if I can do something about it. One thing that I do usually in these cases when I see that textures are going like crazy. Rocks_02. Rocks. Rocks_02. It seems that I already did a test because I see there is a W version. White. Yeah. I think I did something on it. I tried. Actually, I tried and then probably I didn't like it anyway. And I reused the other one. Let me just do a simple test. To export it as BMP. Sometimes I do this when I want just to kill the color profile. But yeah, here it looks darker actually. Seems identical. I don't understand why if I remove the sRGB is so different. No, it's really designed this way. I mean, if I look at it in GIMP, it is actually pretty dark, right? But it's not as dark as it looks there. Right? Bro, it looked like insanely dark. I mean, it's probably also due to the roughness map. I understand to the yeah. I think that here we have 0, 0, 0, 5, and on this one we have 0, 4, 0, 7. So in theory, this one is even brighter. I mean, if I do 0, 0, 5, I think it will become even darker than this, which is ridiculous. No, it's identical. Doesn't really change. It's a bit strange that it doesn't change though, but why so dark? Why so dark? In theory, I have two versions. I have a whiter one, but we broke GIMP. GIMP is gone. Holy moly. The problem is that it really becomes a different texture, right? So if I make it brighter, this thing becomes white, right? So that's the issue. So if you see, it becomes like a white. So this texture looks like is a white rock that has been change to with lower brightness. I think the original was like this. And then someone just destroyed it by making it darker and saying, well, it will look like a darker rock, but it doesn't, right? It really doesn't. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. This will never work. Is it the way... No, this will basically flatten everything, so it's not possible. It's not possible. I think I tried already, but I didn't manage to make it. To make it actually reasonable. I think we need to find another texture. I like this texture, but it's not working, right? So this texture is not working. It's too dark, and when transformed into a brighter one, it's too bright. So it's not a good gray color, right? So it's not a good gray rock color. I mean, maybe like this is slightly better, but I think it becomes something completely different, right? And I think it's still gray, but it's still dark, by the way. I mean, it's just wrong. I don't know how to say. It's just the profile, right? That is bad. Yeah, you see? I mean, like this, obviously, but it becomes a completely different rock, right? So it's not a gray rock, it's a white rock. I mean, it's not bad, but I think it doesn't capture the original intent, right? The original intent was to have a kind of a dark. Yeah, but like this is really, really dark. Okay, anyway, I don't think I can fix it, so we will just leave with this. At least I don't think I can fix it now, but what did I do now? I fucked up the alignment, yeah. I think I fucked up the alignment. Oh no, sorry, it's easy. Yeah, the fact that we have a pivot that is not really in the right place is making the placement very, very hard, but okay, now it should be perfect. Now, this is if I place this. If I place the actual 3D model, I mean the actual blueprint, is it still the same or not? This guy. shit. It doesn't. You serious? Then what did I paste? Ah shit, I did another block. Because one is the 3D model, the other is the... Okay, it's matching perfectly. Okay, fantastic. The other is the blueprint that includes additional stuff, right? And yeah, for example, he has the lanterns, you know, he has some connector points, he has some other stuff. So I think we want to drop the blueprint. I think we want to drop the blueprint, eh? Yeah, we may have this problem that we may decide to solve by or reusing the same material. I just don't like the way it matches, right? I don't like that too much. I mean, the way it blends into. I mean, it looks a completely different rock, and on one side I'm fine, on the other, so. I mean, we can obviously... What the hell? We can obviously fix it a bit, but unfortunately we don't have a lot of geometry, so... I mean, we have stupid geometry, right? So we have a lot of geometry on one side and we have very little geometry. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of geometry vertically and very little geometry horizontally, and so it's a bit stupid the way it is at the moment, but yeah. And now it's time for Decimate. And now is the time that you will always be waiting. The time you've been waiting. Till now. I know. I know you've been waiting for this. I know. Ha. Will Decimate touch my interface? Good question. Yes, he's touching it. No! Decimate is touching my interface. Are you crazy? Why? Don't touch it. Yeah, it's touching it. I mean, I can... It starts to touch it here. Fuck. You know what we can do, maybe? We can separate the front piece and just decimate the front piece, but I don't know if that's a great idea. Because in theory, just from here down, right, we need... Let me try. It looks kind of fine, actually. Wait. No. Fuck. Wait. These two have to go together, huh? Why is not removing that thing? Why is still keeping so many? I mean, we are at 0.27, so maybe it's enough, but... It only merged 5. Why only merged 5? 11 slightly better. I'm just checking if we have open vertexes now. I don't think so. I'm just checking. I think I really don't like that texture anyway. It is so dark, right? I really don't. like it. Tonight I want to go to bed a bit earlier because I think I pushed a bit too much these days. I'm kind of feeling it. Yeah, I think we definitely need more loops here, but at the same time, I mean, before this becomes real rock and not just a torus, right? I think it will take a bit more time, but yeah, because at the moment it's really looking like it's artificial, right? Because actually it is artificial. I mean, we made it artificially, and it kind of shows, right? I think I need to move wall blocks like this, right? I need to move, you know, wall blocks and mostly rotate them, right? I need rotations and mostly on these axes, right? On these axes, I think is where the majority of the problem is at the moment. It looks like flat. I think I have to do, yeah, something like that, and cut it off like this, and then push it out, right? And still wrong. Is anyway still wrong. I mean, in million years it will be fine, but at the moment it's still broken, my boys. I mean, it's still looking too square, right? I mean, too round and too even, right? And like, it really looks like it's made artificially. Doesn't look at all like a cave rock. So we need to. Also, I think there are too many vertices in some places. I mean, it's improving slowly, but yeah, exactly, slowly, right? It's improving a bit, but I mean, it looks less, but it still looks a lot. I think that what bothers me is really the outer circle, right? The outer circle is insanely square, is insanely wrong. So you should probably, you know, really push it. I I mean, really push it some other direction, whatever. So squeeze it, or yeah, exactly like that. The problem is that we need this space, right, for maybe slightly better now. I mean, but anyway, not all of it will be visible, right? So it will be just pieces of it being visible. So, but if this could look more like a rock that bumps out, right? I think I would prefer, but it seems I cannot do it. Seem to have it like a rock like this. I need to do that, and then I need to cut off, you know, here. Cut off again like here, you know, and then bump this as well, right? And so it start to become maybe a bit more like a rock bumping out. Yeah, exactly. You know, so like this it start to become more like an irregular, yes, exactly, like an irregular rock, right? Yes, I think we need more of those things everywhere, right? So here, we need more of those, like cut off any irregular thingies. So like if I take this and I push it out, basically, right? Maybe I rotate it as well a bit, but then it needs to start to become more of a rocky rock. So the fact they are all the same height is a problem. Yeah, exactly. That is breaking a bit the pattern, right? You see? It's breaking the pattern. Yes. Definitely breaking the pattern a bit. So I need to do this. Now if I have to do, I don't know if there is a noise. I think there is a noise function, but I don't know exactly where is it. But I think with a noise function, it would be much easier, right? Just to apply some random noise to your vertexes. I think we used it one time, but I don't remember now. But I think we used it one time. Okay, I cannot go on forever with this, so I have to, unfortunately, I need to stop this. I need to stop to do this. I need to stop because it's taking too much time and we have to do other things, right? Yeah, we need more rocks that bump out like that, and so break the pattern of the round thingy. But anyway, a cave could be like this, right? So I think that now is at least more uneven, you know, more okay, let me try. I didn't think that it would have been so long to do a freaking connector piece, but it did. It really did. Yeah, it's already looking better. Now, Okay, let's try to walk there and see how it looks, because I think it's only by walking that we realize how bad or how good it is, right? So let's just walk there and see. I didn't change Giorgio Veda. I think it's because I had one of the I don't know, this rock is very nice. I mean, this red rock here is very nice. That one, I really dislike it, so... Because it's so dark, right? And I don't understand why it becomes so dark. It becomes so insanely dark. I think I just have to pick another one and swap it. Because I don't like it. We may try this version, but this version is really white. Why we cannot match? Why we cannot match a freaking gray rock? I don't understand. Wow, this one is very white. Yeah, for example, this one, right? How is this one different from this one, right? Yeah, because you see, I mean, it is gray, but it's a much brighter, right? Or anyway, yeah, it's a much brighter gray. Here is really, I mean, it's evident that this texture was a white texture, and it became, they just reduced the brightness. I mean, it's evident. It's evident. The original texture was more like this, right? The problem is that if I do it like this, I think is not what I wanted to have, right? I wanted to have a gray rock, and it is a white rock. It's a pity because it's a very nice texture, but I cannot make it this way. At least I don't know how to make it. Maybe I can give it to the AI and have it rework. Yeah, maybe that's the idea. Let me try. If I give it what? I give it this. The problem is that it will change the format. It will make it. It will make it wrong. Wrong sides, 100%. I have this texture, but in game it looks very dark. With the brightness, but if I increase the brightness, I get a white rock while I wanted a gray one. Can you fix it? Drag the white point slider. Try and increase the exposure. You change it. Anyway, hello everyone who joined the stream. Hello there. I'm trying to create this connector between, oops, I think we fucked up somehow. Because the connector doesn't have the, no. The connector doesn't have the proper collision. Every time you import something, right, you need to give him the right collision, or it will not work. Pity, we have to relaunch it. By the way, you see that here in the editor is even not too bad, right? So if I look at this here, it's not too dark, right? But when it's in game, it becomes like black. So look at this here, and look at this here. I mean, look at the difference. I understand that here is taking the light, is actually in shadow. I understand that. But it's not like, you know, you see the difference between this one and this one? I mean, it's insane. I think it's really the way the color is done, right? It's not too bad. The problem, I'm pretty sure that he fucked up the resolution. I'm pretty sure he fucked up the resolution. So the texture was originally... yeah. I think this texture is 2K and he made it 1K. I mean, it's still darker, right? I don't know if I will like it this way. I mean, it's dark, but it's white. So it's a white rock with low brightness, right? So it is basically the problem. Desert connector, yes. I mean, yeah, because it's really the texture that is wrong. It's really a texture that is being created wrong. I think it's really the texture that is wrong. You see that is a white texture, pretty much. I mean, it improved, right? I think it improved. I think that this one, I mean, at that point, you know, we can use this one. But I think at this point, I can use this one that at least is a bit more varied in terms of colors. But it's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. You may say, why you want all these different things? I don't know. Because I have something in mind, right? And I want it that way. I think this one that I did probably is the best compromise. It's probably the best compromise. I mean, if you really want to change it. And I think it will work kind of okay for the desert actually, because because it looks like a desert rock, right? So I think for the desert it may work, but in other places, because we are using these rock also in other places, and I think in other places it may not work. That's my feeling. but we may substitute it, yes. Whee! Boom. Okay, so this is how it looks. I think obviously these, yeah, the change, you know, the color change is brutal. The color change is brutal. Now, maybe if we make this a bit more if we add more rocks, right, to just camouflage it a bit, I think it will be better. In terms of sides, I think it's perfectly fine. In terms of texture, incredibly enough, looks like decent. Here it becomes a bit, it becomes very, very, very small, very tight, but I think it's not too bad actually. Again, now here we hit this, but it's fine. Yeah, I think it looks okay actually. Let me try just a second with the other texture, right, and see what happens. No, I will never be able to go there if I do this. Flying is always nice. Flying always very nice. I think that this one would be the opposite. It would be too strong, right? Too white. But let me see. Yeah, which is this basically. I think I will create an alternative version of it. Rock 02. Where do you go? W. I think for the desert this may actually work. I don't know why I have it here and I don't have it inside tileable materials, by the way. It's too white. It's too white. It's too white. It's too white. I mean, I think it may be okay for a single rock, but not for a wall dungeon, right? Fuck, I cannot finalize this freaking texture. But anyway, apart from that, I think the connector works, and the yeah, I think I want to go to bed though. I want to go to bed. I think the only way to fix this, you know, and make it less fake, make it look less fake, is to add additional rocks, right? So, for example, you know, just a random rock there of the same color of this, so that it's kind of cutting off, right? It's kind of cutting off the transition a bit, right? And here probably as well, I don't know. And maybe here as well, I don't know. But just to have it, you know, just to have it. Just to have it so it's more bumpy. Right? And less predictable, right? And less predictable. Now this one looks a bit stupid because it's flying actually. But yeah, I think something like that. I think this part should still be this color, but I mean, we can push it in more, right? I mean, if we push this guy in, it would become like that, right? And maybe it's more reasonable than how it is now. But anyway, the cave entrance kind of works, which is the good part. I mean, it's not, I mean, as an arch, you know, is kind of fine. I think that then the fact that everything else is the same color, right, it starts to be a bit too much. But as an arch, I mean, if you say, oh, this is just one rock as an arch like this, if you just look at the arch, I think it's okay. I would like this arch, right, to be this way. Like if it's a separate piece of rock. But then when you go in and say that everything else is the same, you start to be a bit weird, right? And then you go here, and here you have the other rock, right? Which is the darker one. So I don't know. I think we will have to go with the darker one. We need to wait to finally see all the fantastic material in the lab. The lab we will put some weird stuff like cages and pieces of quilldrakes. Quilldrake pieces. I think we will have quildrake pieces, yes. Quildrake pieces. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go because I need some sleep. But yeah, we did some work. I think I was a bit slow today, but creating the connector was the hardest part, and ensuring that it actually connects with our existing dungeon pieces, right? But now it does. So if we go to a 100 grid and to a 90 degree, right? And we take any of these pieces and we rotate them, in theory, I don't know if it works always, but in theory this should match, right? For every piece that we have. And so this means that creating the dungeon would be fairly easy, right? Should be fairly quick, because we just take the pieces and we stick them together. Like now I am 1 meter to the side. Yep, you see? Yep, you see it matches. On the other side is matching perfectly as well. So we can then just duplicate this, you know, and start to create our dungeon without any problems, right? And maybe we have to create few new pieces, possible. But now creating the dungeon like this will be very easy. Will be very, very easy. And this is already matching, right? So you see, so we can go and create a wall dungeon, some rooms, and all of that, right? And so we will do that tomorrow. Now that we have the connector piece and we know how to. Now I still think that the best is to use the same material, right? Because is stupid otherwise. I think if we even if it's dark, it's fine, you know, it's fine. Maybe we can put 2 torches here at the beginning. Well, actually, I don't want to have torches here because I think it should be more of a hidden entrance. But yeah, we'll probably go with this material, or I will change the material completely. I don't know. I have to decide if I want to change the material completely. We may find we may just ask Gemini to create an alternative. And we will use that. Maybe. I think texture creation now is insane. I mean, if you think about it, right? So you can just ask him to generate a texture and actually it works. I mean, it does it. It does it. It creates yeah, now it created an alternative just by changing slightly the things. But so maybe in this case it didn't really work. That's very similar actually. Yeah, you have to go to a new prompt. Okay, guys. I'm basically sleeping. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. By the way, I sent the Death Realm document to the artist, and so we will see what he says. If he wants to do the work and how many millions dollars he wants for it. Bye. What about clicking follow on Twitch and subscribing on YouTube, for example? Or also playing our game. You can download it from Steam.